Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong, and today we have another interesting guest. He's been helping a lot of people become more successful, more happy in their lives by helping them understand themselves better through a life score system. He has over 2 decades of experience in the enterprise software marketing industry. He truly believes that for us to live happy, for us to live successfully, it needs to be sustainable, it needs to be mindful, and of course, it needs to be intentional as well. He's been helping a lot of individuals all around the world design that balanced, fulfilling lifestyle through this Zen score system. He is the author of the book, What's Your Life Score? He's been a CMO for multiple companies in the past. He's been a co-founder of a green business bureau. He's also the CEO of a next generation social networking app for live events. And he's also the founder and CEO of Goodliife. So please welcome entrepreneur and innovator, Mr. Bill ZUJEWSKI.
Thank you, Fong. Pleasure to be here. Looking
Hey,
forward to
thanks.
our conversation.
Always a joy speaking with people like yourself who's gone through lots of challenges and adversity and been able to become very, very successful in what you do. And in return, helping lots of people becoming successful too. So thanks for being here. So for people who don't really know what you do, how did you get to where you are today, being this person who is helping people understanding themselves better?
Yeah, sure. Spent most of my career in the high-tech industry, engineer out of school, corporate marketing, CMO for B2B companies. And then I pivoted about 10 years ago, got the entrepreneur itch, wanted to do kind of my own thing and leave the corporate world. I joined two other founders at Green Business Bureau. We built that company from scratch and sold it a couple of years ago. And now I bootstrapped two companies of my own. I'm CEO of both last year. They both have purposes. One is Momentix, which is really trying to get young people out of the house to live events. So it's a social app for finding out what concerts, DJs, games, their friends are going to, and then they can easily go to the same events. But the one I'm probably going to focus on today is the Goodliife score, the Goodliife company. I launched a software application for a personal scorecard that kind of help you design your life, manage your life, and keep a balanced life.
Well, what was that transition like for you from working corporate and creating your own thing as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. It could be, it's a little scary and risky at first. And I kind of dipped my toes. In other words, I kind of hedged. So when I went into Green Business Bureau, I wasn't drawing the salary, right? I was basically head of marketing, sales, and had no income. So what I realized after a few months was, I should probably have a little bit of an income stream in parallel. And a lot of people do it moonlighting when they dip their toes. I did marketing consulting, so I did some fractional CMO work, mostly for startups in the Boston area. I know a couple of venture capitalists. And so I did probably 6 months of work during the year while I focused on Green Business Bureau.
And for somebody who's been able to like build a couple businesses and then also building it up to a point where somebody would actually buy the business, what was some of the things that you learned throughout that process that you could pass on to other people who's building their businesses? Because the thing is, lots of people build their businesses without thinking about the exit. You
Mhm.
exited your company, therefore there must be something that you did well during that period of time, so that somebody goes, "Yeah, we want to buy that business."
Yeah. I mean, it's business 101, of course. Um, we weren't sure when we started when we would get acquired or when we would sell the business. So we assumed that it might be 2 years or it might be 10 years. But no matter what that acquisition and exit path was, that we were going to need to create a really strong business, understand our marketing acquisition costs for customer acquisitions, understand our monthly and quarterly revenue, have great metrics and all that stuff. So you start off with just building a good business. Now we kind of had a feeling that there are other companies that were getting into green business and sustainability, and that there were obvious candidates for being acquired. Um, but that wasn't our focus in the first couple of years. The first couple of years was how can we build, first of all, get angel investors, and then how we could build a strong business so that we can get our A series round of investments. And then when we went out for that investment round, it turned out two of the investors actually said, would you be willing to sell the company? So we weren't even intending to sell the company. It was just a couple of investors liked the business so much, they actually made us an offer we couldn't refuse, and we sold.
Which kind of goes to the point where if people aren't building their business with the mindset of making it like attractive,
Hmm.
then it's going to be difficult for you to make that turnaround so fast. Because if
Yeah,
people weren't thinking about exit and weren't building that business for an exit potential, then if the opportunity came, then they may not be able to turn around so fast, which you've done because like you built a great business.
right.
Now, when you were going around and finding investors at the beginning, what were some of the key things that you had to focus on in order to attract those investors to come in?
Yeah, I mean the at the stage we were at, they were looking for predictable revenue and customer acquisition costs and retention. And I think retention, the good, smart investors understand that it's not that hard, although it's not easy to get customers and to pay one time, pay for a couple months, or get them to subscribe or download. It's it's very hard to keep them for a year or 2 years as an ongoing customer. So we needed to show kind of both ability to acquire new customers at a reasonable price, and then also show that people love their application. If I had one tip to people who are just starting out, make sure your application or your web app or your service is just amazing, that everyone loves it. Because if it's mediocre, you might get family, might get friends, but over time, you're gonna lose customers if they're not, loving your solution.
I liked how you brought that up because so many people out there are thinking, okay, once I create something, people will come. Once, as long as it's great, people will come. Now, you had a really, really great product, and lots of people also have great products. But how do you get through all that noise?
Right.
Because right now online, there's so much stuff. It's
Yeah.
bombarded with information, products, competition. How do you get through all that and get noticed?
Yeah, no, it's so hard. So I've been doing marketing in B2B, but it applies in small business and solopreneurship as well. It's focus, right? My secret sauce for success for managing organizations is find out the niche that you could be number one in, and really be either the leader or the only solution for that niche. If you're one of three or one of 20, there's just too many similar solutions out there. You really have to come across as the next generation of something that no one else has, or a new category or a new way of doing things. And then the holy grail of marketing is to be the leader in that category or number one for that solution. It's that simple. If you're trying to compete with the big boys in your category, good luck with that. Yeah.
That you successfully built three, four businesses now, right?
Yeah, this is my third where I'm kind of co-founder. But it was when I was a fractional CMO, I think I've had 10 clients over 5 years where we did A series rounds, B series rounds, and so I helped them get from 1 million to 10 million. So I got acquired by Oracle twice. So I was at little companies that grew to bigger companies that eventually became part of Oracle software. So my expertise is kind of either scaling from 1 million to 10 million, or getting a business off the ground. This is my third one, getting it off the ground.
What have you found to be the difference between the ones that you started earlier to the ones that you're doing now? Like with technology coming in, with more people online, social media and all that kind of stuff, what
Yeah.
have you found that to be something you implemented more now or different now from before?
Yeah. I'm I'm pretty fortunate in that I started off as an engineer, then software, that I'm pretty technical because the tools that are available to start a business are amazing. Like I'm using ChatGPT 2, 3 hours a day for content, for strategy, for landing pages, for building lists. Like, I mean, and then the automation tools for marketing, CRM, all these tools that are out there now, either you're going to have to SEO, Google ad, Facebook ad optimization, right? So I was when we were at Green Business Bureau, we had no budget, we had no cash. So as head of marketing, I had to learn all those marketing and sales tools myself.
Mm.
Not everybody has that in them, so find a partner. If you're not technical or you don't feel comfortable using all the technology that's available, go find someone who is and partner with them and bring them on board as a co-founder because the technology that's out there right now is just amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the thing with with AI and ChatGPT, you could create content just like that. Just talk to them, and then you got stuff on your website already.
Yeah, no, I know it's crazy. I actually on my Goodliife, so my Goodlife score app has a scorecard for people, and then it also is used by life coaches. So just for kicks, tried to create a virtual life coach, and I read all these YouTubes and tutorials. It wasn't that hard to create a model with I put my book in the model, my resume, all these videos I've done, my philosophies, my autobiography, and then next thing you know, the model represented me. It was like talking to me. So I think this whole virtual people, virtual agents that represent humans is coming for sure. And it's a little scary for sure.
Now that you mentioned that, do you see it taking over completely? Like, is there still space for real people to be there and do coaching and consulting?
There is for sure. There is for sure. Because what I realized, and I had to pivot because of this, I realized that for people who want to improve their lives, and this is a proven model, they need someone who cares about them and is going to hold them accountable. Discipline, being conscientious towards your goals, all that stuff is so hard unless you really have someone to push you. So I actually think that, and I just wrote an article on LinkedIn about this, that
Mm.
everyone should have a coach. There's definitely people who are somewhere where you want to be who could help you get where they are because of all the lessons they've learned. So I think that human touch is not going away. At first, I thought maybe I'd replace life coaches and fitness coaches and wealth managers with my scorecard. And then I'm realizing, no, it's actually a good engagement tool. They're actually a better customer for me to be using my tool with their clients than me taking them out of the picture. So for sure.
I think it's one thing to turn off your phone or hang up on an AI person or character versus hanging up on a live person on the other end. You feel a
Yeah.
little guilty.
Yeah. No, 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 for sure.
For entrepreneurship, lots of people believe that that's the life, that's the dream. They go, you know what, I want to work for myself. It's gonna be so great. I get to deal with my own hours and all that kind of stuff. But that's not necessarily true. There's lots of challenges. It usually ends up you working more and you're
Right.
up later than you would be if you were working for corporate or for an employer. So tell us more about those challenges and what are people missing when it comes to entrepreneurship? And with your life score system, you're also helping them deal with that as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, you do not have to work 80 hours to be a solopreneur. But there are weeks I'll work 60 hours, but it doesn't feel like work. The worlds start to blend together when you're passionate about your cause or what you're doing or your startup. I mean, I wake up on Sunday mornings and I can't wait to like I wake up with some thoughts and I go right to my desk and write them down and start a blog and then write. go into ChatGPT. So you're always, you don't mind working hard when you see the work is going directly into your investment, your personal company, your investment. So some of the things I learned though is I was an engineer, introvert, and if you're going to go into entrepreneurship and soulpreneurship, you better be comfortable selling, right? You've got to go out and sell your ideals. You've got to go out and sell your services. You've got to go out and build your network. You have to be a strong communicator and willing to invest in relationships, in building all that network, and in selling. Selling is a life skill. So if you're not comfortable, reaching out to people and asking them to look at something, do something for you. And of course, you could give them something back, but I would highly consider not going into entrepreneurship.
How does one develop that skill? Like if they are introverted, if they are shy, but you know what, they really want to break out and become an entrepreneur and have their own business, what would you recommend them do right now? Something day to day or on a consistent basis, so they can develop that comfort and that sellability.
Yeah, I mean, there's take a multi-pronged approach, right? So first of all, there's so much information out there, to read about selling, looking at YouTubes. If you feel really uncomfortable, find someone who's done it before and is an expert and have them and coach you. You can even sign up for these incubator programs that are with other entrepreneurs. And when you meet as a team, you see how other people sell their ideals and sell to their network. So don't go at it alone. Either find experts or find peers, and you'll figure it all out. You'll definitely figure it out. And then you got to just try. You're going to hear no a lot. You're going to get ghosted. You just got to have a tough skin and realize, don't take it personally. Comes with the business. 1 out of 10 people is not going to get back to you. It's a law of large numbers. Reach out to 100, 10 will get back to you, 5 will get back to you. Reach out to 10, you'll only get one person, right? So you just got to put in the effort.
Exactly, totally agree with that. Something you mentioned before was the fact that as an entrepreneur, you kind of see your worlds merge together.
Yeah.
And I see that you have a wonderful family in the background there in your photos. How do you balance that? Because sometimes you can't shut that entrepreneur brain off, and you're
Yeah.
out with the family, enjoying time and going out for a movie or whatnot, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I gotta go focus on this. Does that kind of frustrate family members, or how do you
Yeah.
have that balance?
A couple stories here. So first of all, not my path may not be people might not be able to wait till they're 50. I started entrepreneurship, when I was in my 50s. The first 25 years of my career, I went with safer jobs, less risk, where I could work 40 hours a week, right? I'm pretty productive, so my 40 hours is like 60 hours of most people because I'm like focused on the job. So I can tell you this, I actually wasn't willing to sacrifice that time with my family. I coached AAU basketball. I was involved in, 4 or 5 town leagues in terms of coaching, going to all my kids' events. I was there. And it wasn't until the youngest, my youngest is 21 now, my oldest 28. It wasn't until my youngest was in college that I really was able to kind of focus on, work more and had you it's for those who are out there who are listening. I don't know if they're out there. When you become an empty nester and your kids are in college and are gone, oh my gosh. So my time went from, 40 hours to like 70 hours because I had 30 hours of family stuff that just opened up. Right. So I give credit to the entrepreneurs who are trying to balance both. What I would say to them is don't sacrifice your family relationships and friend relationships. You're going to hate yourself at the expense of your startup. You can still build a successful startup working 40, 50 hours a week.
And a lot of that is balance. A lot of that is you can't have it all at the same time. But if you
Yeah.
focus on it at a certain
Yeah.
period of time and then focus on something else at a certain period of time. There's still an overall balance there.
Yeah,
And
no. So Fong, let me quick mention because I know we're running out of time. That's exactly what I was. So this is the book. By the way, it's not that hard to write a book or publish it now. So what's your life score? But where it's the life score came from my system 20 years ago at the end of each year, New Year's resolution, I would sit down with a little spreadsheet with like 12 rows and score myself for the year and then see what I wanted to work on next year. How did I do with my, savings and finances? How did I do with my family relationships? How did I do with my friends? How did I do with my health and hitting the gym and my weight? How did I do with, going on vacation and my career and growth and all those things. And I give myself, 1 to 10, and then forces you to self-reflect on what you're doing in your life and just pause for a minute. And then you see like a 2 in relationships with friends and realize, oh my God, I haven't gone out with my friends in 2 months, or I haven't called my best friend in 3 months, right? So this whole scorecard, it's really just forces you to kind of self-reflect on all the areas of your life, because you could be start to get obsessed a little bit with like the financial aspects of your business or the business, and that's just not good. You'll burn out, and then you'll be unhappy and stressed and anxious.
is there any benefit for somebody else to do that for you as well? Like you do your own and then have somebody else from the outside do yours, because sometimes you're stuck in your own fog. You might be
Yeah.
answering all those questions thinking that it's a one way, but somebody else from the outside is looking at, oh, that's not true. You're
Yeah,
actually
no, it's a great observation because I've had some people, I've coached some people, and I'll go over their Zen score, their questions about how I have 2 scores, how you feel about your life and how you're actually doing in your life. And a lot of times people give themselves like a 4 in their wealth. And then I'll meet with them and say, what are you talking about? You got like 3 houses. You've got a beautiful Mercedes. You got these amazing, like, well, I want to get to 10 million. That's my number. I'm only at 3 million. And so they're like, they have all this stress and anxiety because to them, they've created these unbelievable expectations of where they want to be in this area. And they're just frustrated. They really need someone from the outside and say, you know what, that's a little bit irrational or egotistic or selfish, or you're missing this area. So you're right. The score you need to kind of get someone from the outside to kind of help you understand, why you think the way you think, for sure.
and then also that scoring system is sometimes relative to where you are in your point of life. Like as you said, like somebody else might that person might be thinking, oh yeah, my score is a 4
Yeah.
because from my grand scheme of things, I want to be here, right? Whereas
Yeah.
somebody, if they hit that number, it's not 4, it's a 10 for them, right? So how do
Yeah.
you when you're coaching somebody on that, how do you help them adjust that expectation level?
Yeah, no, it's funny. Talk about your version 1, version 2, version 3 of my product. The first one, everything was equally balanced, right? 1/10 to each of the 10 categories. And then, you talk to someone in their 20s, and actually that is a time for them to work a little harder. They really have to build their experience, their resume. So maybe work is a little more weighted early on until you have a wife and family, and then all of a sudden you have to put more time into that. So depending on where you are and maybe now you're 50 and you want to be more philanthropic and give back and you want to put more time into that, and in your 20s you don't have the money or time to do that. So totally agree. As progress in life, you're going to have different things. You still want to have a balance across all those categories, but there are a few of them. Like for me, now that I'm in my 50s, health was hardly on my radar when I'm in 20s and 30s. I felt great every day, right? Now it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta get to my stretches, my yoga, my mindfulness, my diet, the gym, treadmill, like because I wanna feel young. I want to have all that energy that I had when I was younger. So that's a long answer, but the short answer is wherever you are in your life, you're going to have different kind of balance in those areas.
Now, would you agree that after somebody has gone through this Zen score system, this life score system,
Yeah.
that they should also work with somebody, bring in that other person to kind of go through your numbers and then kind of help you, okay, this is what you should do next. Because I know a lot of people out there who are doing these score systems and then all of a sudden go, well, yeah, I'm weak. And therefore, I am weak. I can't do anything about it. I'm just going to focus on this. And they
Yeah.
never. So working with a coach, working with a mentor, having those discussions should be the next step after you do these kind of self evaluation stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see people, those words you just said, that's who I am, Hey, I'll never be, a runner and fit, or I'll never know how to, be good with my finances. Like, really? You're not going to learn how to have the basics of, saving for your college kids and retirement? Like, I get it. Some people may not enjoy that part of life. I actually love investing. It's like the ultimate challenge of picking stocks. It's like a chess match against the world, but not everyone wants to even think about that. So then hire someone to help you, right? Get a wealth manager or a professional or an accountant, someone who can teach you the basics, but then that you trust that you can delegate some of that too. If the worst thing to do is just assume that you can't be good in that area, right? I mean, that's a huge mistake.
So for somebody like yourself who's constantly making sure that your life score is high, what's the
Yeah.
next thing that's coming up for you? What's the next big thing, next passion project, or next goal for you?
Yeah. So my scores are pretty good in a bunch of categories. I would say I'm a little down right now. I've been working a little too hard and I've been missing the gym and cheating. So I gotta get back to my health routine for sure. And that one's obvious. Um, and then I gotta work on my stress a little. So I've been kind of getting a little anxious that I'm now like 6 months into one of these startups and we still don't have a revenue model or way to monetize the eyeballs. So but I should have known that was coming. I knew it was going to be hard. So those are the little things. I still do the scoring. My kids do it, and it's just a useful exercise.
Mhm. What would you say is the ideal personnel to come to you for this type of consulting or help?
Yeah, so I basically am I realize I'm not just a software company with Goodliife. So I am actually doing some uh coaching myself. So part of I'm changing I'm pivoting from a software to a membership. So now I'm looking for young professionals who want to kind of get help with designing their life, whether it's around their career, finances, family. I have a couple of people who are about to join my cohort around, this young men's club around just understanding they're about to have their first kid. What's a 529? How do I start saving, right? So if you're a young professional, I can help you with kind of some life coaching for sure. And then if you're an entrepreneur, I would love to exchange notes with you and network with you as well. Those. And if you're a life coach, I have a handful right now using my system and my score. I'm looking to get like 10 more life coaches. So life coaches, hopefully they'll reach out to me. I'll give away my 6 month cohort to the first few that maybe respond to you, so I can get kind of feedback on my system and my score from them.
Awesome. So before I let you go, I have another formal question for you, and that is what would you recommend people do on a day-to-day basis so that they could have a balanced life score?
Yeah, just
It's a
yeah.
loaded question, I know.
No, no, no. You got to be thoughtful and intentional about it. Like literally, I've got my list of things I want to get done, and it sounds stupid, but I've got stretch and Peloton bike on here. There's something to be said about making progress every day and knowing that when you go to bed at the end of the day, you've gotten some things done. So I've got here, I got to get on social media. I got about 20 minutes. I got to go and do some tweets, some LinkedIn's. You got to create a routine, right? And it includes your health. I'll check my stocks, every day for like 20 minutes and my investments to see how they're doing. And then you just get a routine and you're conscientious about, staying on that routine every day.
Awesome, great words to live by. Also, before I let you go, rapid fire five questions. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Sure.
You're stranded on the deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence.
Probably cheeseburgers.
You're on a long road trip in a car. For some reason, there's only one song that plays over and over and over again. What's that one song?
Oh, probably AC/DC. I'm Highway to Hell.
Very nice. Hollywood calls and goes, "Hey, we love to cast you. We would like to do a biopic of you. Who would you cast to play you?"
Oh my God. Yeah, Tom Hanks. I think he's a nice guy, smart.
Tom Hanks shows up and goes, "Hey, let's hang out. Let's have some fun. But before we go, I'm hungry." And you go, "Hey, Tommy, baby, no problem. Come over here. I got this dinner fixed up for you. My special dish is blank."
Oh, I make this amazing grilled salmon where I must have had 20 out of the 20 last people who had it asked me for the recipe. I grill it outside with 4 or 5 special ingredients that are top secret. It's my
Ah,
grilled salmon.
I was gonna ask you for those ingredients.
I will send you, I'll give you a picture of the 3 ingredients so you can buy the exact ones.
Sounds good. Last question. Give me a number from 1 to 5 first.
4.
One, two, three, four. So the word is coveralls. If you had to use coveralls as a metaphor for success, how is success like coveralls?
Coveralls for metaphor for success. Wow. So I guess part of you is exposed if you don't put a shirt underneath them. So be ready to be exposed. And you're probably standing out and look, and people are going to wonder, like, what is this person doing wearing coveralls? He's kind of weird or different. Don't be afraid of what other people think for sure.
I see then. So that's how success is like coveralls. Thank you very much for your time and your advice, and also some of the recommendations on doing your life scores and all that kind of stuff. What's the best way to get in touch with you, get your book, and also any final words?
Yeah, no. So the brand I'm trying to build for those solopreneurs, brand is super important. It is Goodliife with 2 I's, so that it wasn't, messed up on SEO. So you go to goodlife.com and from there you'll see my book if you want to buy it on Amazon. You'll see the membership, you'll see my newsletter. So start at goodlife.com. There's a YouTube channel, it's Bill ZUJEWSKI. Bill@goodlife.com is my email as well.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much. So for everybody, make sure you get in touch with Bill, pick up his book, understand your own life better so that you could become more successful and happy. All great things. So thank you very much, Bill, again.
Thanks, Fong. Appreciate it.
Cool. He's Bill. My name is Fong. Until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you later.